In my last video, I talked about why the Retroid Pocket Nova has become one of the most exciting retro handhelds. If your main goal is playing retro games, it's the best option you have right now. But that doesn't suddenly make the Retroid Pocket 6 a bad handheld. In fact, if someone asked me to recommend just one Android handheld without telling me what they like to play, I'd probably still recommend the Pocket 6. Both handhelds have almost identical performance. They use the same chip, all retro systems, and even Switch games perform the same. So the difference is still the screen. The Pocket Nova's beautiful 4.5-inch 4:3 OLED display is exactly why people love it so much. Older games finally get to use a proper screen with the power to upscale them cleanly. It really feels like this handheld was made for them. Retroid Pocket 6 looks at gaming from a completely different angle. The larger 5.5-inch widescreen makes it much more flexible. Modern-era games, cloud streaming, or even watching YouTube between gaming sessions, the wider screen fits those tasks better. That's why I still think it's the better all-rounder, a device suited for most. I also think people worry too much about black bars. Yes, retro games have black bars on the Pocket 6, but if you buy the black model, those bars almost disappear because they blend into the OLED screen. If it bothers you that much, widescreen patches are also an option, and in most cases you'll hardly notice the stretching anyway. On the other hand, the Nova has the exact opposite problem. Modern widescreen games and streaming will always have black bars on the top and bottom. Neither handheld avoids black bars completely. Most people will probably be more comfortable having bars on the sides than having them on the top and bottom, especially on a smaller screen. Another thing I appreciate about the Retroid Pocket 6 is that it doesn't ask you to commit to one type of gaming. You can spend hours on PS2 games. The next day, you can stream from your PC, play Android games, or jump into a PSP title without thinking about the screen ratio. The Nova is more focused than that. That's what makes it special. But that also means it won't be a good choice for everyone. Don't get me wrong, I do go back to my old retro games now and then, and enjoy them for a few weeks. But most of the time, I find myself looking forward to playing newer indie games from Steam, or just jumping between different modern titles. That's also why I don't think the Pocket 6 has become less interesting to me. Actually, I think the Nova makes the Pocket 6 easier to recommend. Before the Nova, the Pocket 6 had to satisfy every type of player. Now each handheld has a clear identity. If you're obsessed with CRT-era games, I'd probably point you toward the Nova. But if you're new to retro handhelds, don't know or care about screen ratios, or you're mostly looking at these devices as a budget way to play PC games and emulation, the Pocket 6 is still the safer pick. For me, that's what makes a great all-rounder. It handles retro games well. It handles modern Android games well. It handles streaming, lighter PC and Switch games without feeling like it's optimized for only one category. So even after all the excitement around the Retroid Pocket Nova, Retroid Pocket 6 still deserves a place in the conversation.